Top of the morning, fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Anthony Joshua, Daniel Dubois. You guys asked for it, now you're gonna get it. Here is the fight prediction and keys of victory for both Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois. But while we do this, to begin this breakdown, we have to bring on the tale of the tape. That's right. We have Anthony Joshua with 28 wins compared to Daniel Dubois' 21. 3 losses for AJ as he was beaten by Alexander Usyk back-to-back and Andy Ruiz. 2 losses from Daniel Dubois, 1 from Joe Joyce and the other from Alexander Usyk. No draws for each of these fighters. 31 total bouts for Anthony Joshua compared to 23 total bouts for Daniel Dubois. 77% knockout percentage for AJ. 83 for Daniel Dubois. Okay, 6'6" in height for Anthony Joshua. As build for Daniel Dubois, it is 6 feet 5 inches, which that may be 6'4.5". 82-inch reach for Anthony Joshua compared to 78-inch reach for Daniel Dubois. They're both orthodox fighters. They're both from the UK. AJ coming from Watford, United Kingdom, and Daniel Dubois coming from Greenwich, London, United Kingdom. October 15th, 1989 from Anthony Joshua, which makes him 34, and September 6th, 1997 for Daniel Dubois, which makes him 27. Just having a birthday. And let me counterpunch. The first thing I think of when Daniel Dubois versus Anthony Joshua, when you think about these two fighters, they're both hard punching boxer punchers, okay? The experience in the professionals, okay, definitely goes to Anthony Joshua. He has 3 losses. They both got beat by Alexander Usyk. And I think of the differences, the changes of trainers between both fighters. AJ's getting from Derek James in Texas, and then he gets with Ben Davison, and that was really supposed to be a temporary thing. But fortunately for Anthony Joshua, it just stuck. So a lot of people's giving him a lot of praise for getting with Ben Davison. So mentally, I think it's better. Therefore, it is better. Okay. So what is mentally comfortable for a fighter is good. The same for Daniel Dubois. He's now with Don Charles, and Don Charles really supports him and protects Daniel Dubois, almost like a father figure, his damn self, when getting him prepared. And I like that because I think Don Charles brings something new to the table for Daniel Dubois. However, he was with Don Charles when he did, take a knee after a jab from Alexander Usyk. Okay, so we have to make that apparent. The age. Will the age be a difference in this fight? I don't really think so, because 34 years of age for Anthony Joshua, 27 years of age for Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois, it depends on how he uses it. If he comes at AJ, if he gives him what AJ can't handle or not prepared for, that could be an issue for AJ, because AJ kind of gives me the Vladimir Klitschko syndrome, which when they don't like aggression, they tend to grab, and the clinches show uncomfortability in the fight itself, right? And Anthony Joshua is a guy that, I think he's trying to learn how to overcome that. You know what I mean? But I think, and this is boxing, so, I better safe than sorry. I remember him in the Jermaine Franklin fight, the Robert Helenius fight. Everybody was really doubting, is he really back? From where? You know what I mean? That's where I ask. Where is he back from? Because it's not like he was fighting the same type of fighters that he fought before. Even though Andy Ruiz, he was overzealous, and then he got caught himself, by Andy, and he never recovered, obviously. So A lot of people doubt AJ, and the same for Daniel Dubois, though. People do question, does Daniel Dubois have a limit to where he may say, no mas, I don't want this fight anymore. I'm going to take a knee. So both of these guys are kind of in the same realm, okay? Because it's almost like these guys have a cap or an amount of time or a limit on what they can take in the ring. And the question is, who will make it to that limit first? You know what I mean? Because we've seen both guys hesitant. Now, we've never seen just AJ just quit. We've seen that from Danny Dubois. He seems to overcome that. But then, you got to ask yourself, if it's somewhere inside, you just got to go deep to find it, right? So that may be the case. Now, as far as action-wise, Danny Dubois does throw punches in bunches. That can be helpful for him. I would recommend him doing that as keys of victory. He needs to throw combinations to the head, body, head to Anthony Joshua. Keep him guessing, okay? Throw 4 or 5 punch combinations, but watch for the counter, okay? Watch for the counter. And I think it suits him because he's younger, because, normally testosterone is higher for younger men, especially at 27 compared to 34, okay? And that's genetics are involved too. But, I think that would help him. He needs to throw punches, right? And I think with Danny Dubois, I think his offense can be his defense. Let me explain. Danny Dubois, everyone looks at this fight, especially non-casuals, and look at Dubois. He doesn't move his head enough, right? So his head is constantly on the center line when he's not punching. However, when he is punching, the way he throws shots, he comes over, he chops with punches. But when he does that, what does that cause? That causes him to get off the center line. So the more punches that he throws, that helps him defend himself, right? Because Daniel Dubois is, people regarded him as a Frank Bruno 2.0. He used to train with Frank a lot. He doesn't show a lot of mobility. His upper body movement is very poor. Okay. So that's one of the problems with Danny Dubois. That's why he didn't want to fight anyone like, Joseph Parker, so I heard. But Anthony Joshua is a big guy like him. So these guys have the ability to hurt each other, I believe. Now, the question is, how hard can Danny Dubois punch versus what Anthony can handle and vice versa? Can Danny Dubois take Anthony Joshua's shots like he took Jarrell Miller's shots, like he took Philip Hrgovic's shots? That's what you think about. Okay, so that's what it's going to come down to. But the jab, I think that belongs to AJ. But understand this as well. Danny Dubois trying to throw jabs to set up something, he could get caught if AJ is not hesitant. If AJ comes in a situation where he is hesitant, Danny Dubois can throw and put those combinations together, throwing those punches because he's looking for openings. And if he lands, we then will reveal who can take whose shots. Because let's face it, these are both bombs over Baghdad. Now, however, the defense of Anthony Joshua is pretty good. I've seen him train recently. I've seen him, on a defense mode, when taking shots to the body and the head. And I think he was doing that because he knows what type of fighter this is. Now, the good news between these two guys, they both know each other because they both sparred a gang of times, right? And I think it won't be a really fill-out process. It's going to be who wants it, who wants to knock who out, and who gets off first. Because make no mistake about it, I think Danny Dubois has the power to take AJ out. But I don't think he has the experience based on what these guys been through. You know what I mean? You got a guy, let's take the commonality of the opponent, Usyk. Usyk's a tricky chess player, then later on pressure fighter at the end, the championship rounds. Well, you got 24 rounds, 2 fights with AJ and Usyk versus 9 rounds, or really 8, because he stopped him in 9, with Danny Dubois. So Danny Dubois, really didn't last a single fight with Usyk. But these guys together, I think it will be um, pretty entertaining because I don't see Danny Dubois sitting back and allowing AJ to take shots at him. I just don't see that. I think Daniel has something to prove. I think because he has something to prove, and he wants to keep that damn belt too, I think he's going to come to AJ, to take it to AJ, to see if he can do what he claimed he did years ago. That's what he's thinking. But I think that's the keys of victory, because I think he comes in with this confidence that, hey, I was a young bloke when I did do whatever I did to AJ, when I sparred AJ, when I got the best of AJ, so he claims. So at that point and at that mindset, it could be good for Danny Dubois. However, AJ, I think, has learned a lot, and I think AJ's mindset is to knock out Danny Dubois. And I honestly think that AJ's pissed at Danny Dubois based on the things that's been said about him, because sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. That shit doesn't apply to AJ. Words do hurt him, and he gets pissed off when he hears people talk about him. So I think he's also going to have something to prove in this fight. If I had to pick based on the experience, based on what they've done, okay, I would have to go with AJ, because Danny Dubois has punching power. Danny Dubois seemingly has a chin, but AJ also seemingly has a chin. But I think these guys have the ability to hurt each other. But I think the AJ defense is better than Danny Dubois. I just do. Yet he's better. He knows how to defend. He's learned how to defend. He's learned how to defend in different ways. He knows to pull counter. He knows certain counter abilities. And that's what I'm looking for in this fight. I don't think this will be a Philip Hrgovic / Danny Dubois fight. I think this fight will be where Danny Dubois opens up a little bit too much and gives AJ the opportunity to counter with a right uppercut or a left hook, maybe a straight right that may rattle Danny Dubois. But I see Danny Dubois opening up enough, though, to get in the defenses of AJ to see where his chin is. Now, that could be the key to Danny Dubois. Let's hit this man and hit him flush and see what we find out. Let's see if he can take my shot. That's the only chance I give Danny Dubois. But that may be the only chance that Danny Dubois needs. Okay? Use your punches. Come take it to AJ. See how comfortable he is with it. If he's not, keep doing that. That's how you do it. That's what I would recommend for Danny Dubois. But as far as that goes, I just don't see him. I don't see AJ not finding out where and when to hit Danny Dubois to hurt him. And then we will know how durable Danny Dubois is, because he's not completely indestructible. And I'll tell you this. Jarrell Miller caught Danny Dubois in the maybe 4th or 5th round with some shots that really kind of rattled him up. And I believe that AJ hits harder than Jarrell Miller. I think Jarrell Miller has the better chin of all of them, than speaking of AJ and Dubois. But I think Anthony Joshua hits harder. And I think he hits harder than Philip Hrgovic as well. But I don't even see Anthony Joshua opening up like that. However, if Philip Hrgovic could do it, AJ could do it too. So he can initiate attack. So this will make this fight very entertaining in front of 95,000+ fans in Wembley. But you guys tell me what you think about this breakdown between Anthony Joshua and Danny Dubois. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch.